Tuba Zau. Then we got a panel discussion, the future of theological education in the LC, the role of the Lutheran University. So that which that the Manapa will do today. Then Reverend Manke, the BA, will come tomorrow to take that as Manapa place. LUL fundraising. Then we have coffee break. Then we got full panel discussion, reaching the next generation, youth engagement and discipleship. Mr. B. Abel Lawule, Executive Director, Camp for Peace, Liberia. We have lunch, we got sports and recreation, evening devotion, and Jesus theme by Reverend S. Yabawulo P. Then we got musical Jamboree by Evangelist Department. That closes tomorrow, and then we'll come to Sunday, April 27, 2025, Divine Worship Service. The liturgist will be Reverend Thomas Zepi, and then Bishop Craig Miller will, Bishop Upper Susquehanna Senate, ELCA, will be the preacher, and then the chief celebrant, Right Reverend Dr. G. Victor Palmo. Then we got order of the service there, the parade, opening hymn, and then the old rugged cross. Then you go to page 16, continue on the brief order of confession and forgiveness, be there, and then we come at page 17, praise and thanksgiving, welcome and sharing of peace, recognition and retirement of personnel, deacons, and certification. We got selection, scripture readings, and then we got selection, then the gospel, the honoring ceremony and certification, parishes, district, and individuals. We got rally, we got introduction of guest preacher, the sermon hymn, the sermon affirmation of faith. Offering and offertory, the communion celebration by the bishop. So at the back there, you see the song, the trust and obey. Those songs are there that will be singing. So with this, Bishop. So conventional.
All right. You've heard the reading of the itinerary for this celebration. What is your will and pleasure? Yes?
Having heard the reading of the souvenir for this holiday celebration, I move that we take a second that this souvenir be received, placed on table for correction, addition where necessary, after which it serves as a working tools for this year Founders Day celebration.
It's been moved and seconded that the souvenir just read be received, placed on the table for addition, subtraction, correction, and becomes our working tools for this celebration. Are we all ready to vote? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Against? It's open. Yes? Yes. Who's there? Way back there? Bibi? Okay.
Thank you, Bishop, and welcome celebrants. Just a caution and notice. You know, when we gather in these meetings, sometimes it's difficult to define the purpose. I just want to caution us that we are here to celebrate. And the reason why I am putting this for our notice is that it's easy for us to say, pass. This is not a convention.
No.
So when we come to those places, let us remember the language noted. Some of us who be in international convention and meetings, there's a difference between accepted and noted. So I just want to advise the Episcopal office and the chair that when we come to those things, let's watch those languages. On that note, I would then submit.
Thank you. Any other? Okay, if there isn't any, I'm still looking around my baby album.
Because from the reading of the souvenir here, we have issues regarding the Constitution. Are we discussing it in this anniversary celebration to take a decision on it, or it's just for information purpose? The reason why I'm asking, because
Give me a question then.
Constitution
Give me
is
the
a
question.
conventional issue.
Give me the question.
Okay.
We are not discussing, we are now voting on constitutional provision. There have been some amendments sent, right? And so what the Constitutional Committee is going to do, they're just going to read to us those points so people who send those points will hear it. And if there's additional things that both of them will still want to add, they can send those posters to them. But it's not for discussion, it's just for information. So we'll read out and see all of those points, those amendment points that have been raised by the individual and different people, so we can hear where we are.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, Bishop.
Yeah.
This is Theodory from the Son of Mission Field. You know, when the Zoom was read, I observed something that made me to be downhearted a bit. Always, all conventions and meetings, Son of Mission Field can be recorded lastly. And all information cannot be delivered to us except we ask you and say, you're not getting information yet? And they continue. From Mr. Jensen time, it happened to us. We laid out information to you and you told us it will never happen again. And it still continue. And our news was to be one of those parishes are like Son of Mission Field. Supposed to be one of the parishes. Because all the parishes then call Son of Mission Field at last. Because every time it was like that. But from Mr. Jensen time, it's just going now. So it made Lutheran Church, the whole Lutheran Church like forgetting there was Son of Mission Field. And the members that were moving with, they are regretting and they are leaving the church because church is small. We have 3 preaching points. And they are leaving the church because they say they don't know where they're going and where they're coming from. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well, that's a mistake from the General Secretary. But you know, I always inform you people, right? I call you even before this coming here. You and myself, you talk. Are you Daju? Yes, you and myself talk almost every time you call me, I call you. So it doesn't mean I will forget you. But if there's not place to the place where it's supposed to be placed, then we're sorry. It's the General Secretary fault. Not that I want to put you live. But like you rightly said, you are not a parish yet, unless we declare you a parish, and you got to the preaching point now. I will come there and see how strong you are to become a parish. And make a parish. But right, because your mission fee, so come after the parishes. And if you're not there, you write, and we sorry, it's also be so. Okay? Thank you.
Yeah, Bishop. Yeah, when
On the souvenir?
yeah, on the souvenir. As Reverend was saying, attending the reading of the adopted, the proposed constitution. I believe reading it, we will not remember everything that will be read here today. So if we are only reading it, or you are only reading it because you want us to listen to things that have been captured, that will be placed within the constitution, then copy of the constitution, the copy of the draft constitution should be given to the parish.
That is in the making. We will do that. We'll send it to you.
Thank you.
When they recognize you, call your name before you start speaking. Some people are doing some report.
So I'm Molba El Waiaulu Parish Council Chairperson for Sala Parish.
All right. Can we have say that it's okay with corrections and additions? Observation. Observation.
Observation, Bishop. I'm Pastor Jesse G.S. King. Senior Bishop, thank you very much. You place emphasis on celebration. 165 years. But then, if you look at the souvenir, you see a lot of presentations. And it's kind of a power pact. Not much, I'm not against it. I want to say that you may have a celebration, you have diluted the celebration will be on intellectualism. And that's celebrating. I don't know what you mean when you say celebration.
It's celebration.
And with a type of, plenty presentation. I'm not saying against the Bishop, but we really want to celebrate.
So what will be your understanding of
I don't know myself. Because celebration.
No, but listen, Jesse. Part of our celebration is also to understand where we come from, where we want to go. That's if you see what I have here, it's not like what Reverend Colley said, but these are points that I want us to discuss as church that help us move forward. Well, while we celebrate, we should know how we want to maintain and sustain this church, right? So those are some of the but we still have the dancing in between there. Don't worry about that. If you got any other definite celebration more than that, then you're gonna let me know. I will put it inside. We'll be playing football on that celebration. But let's try to keep to the point because of time, right? Okay. Yes.
Okay, I'm Pastor James A.S. Flomo. I'm doing correction. That is, the pastor speaking, his name is not mentioned in the souvenir, and some of his deacons. So that's my point.
Okay. If you didn't put your hand out, don't talk. You talk, we'll find you. Yes.
So it's in line. My name was not.
It's okay. Yeah, we'll correct those ones. If you're not there, just let us know later.
Yeah, Reverend John F. Quickly.
You're not there?
No.
Let us know later. Just do that. Let's do that. We'll correct those things.
Yeah, for correction, page 11. I believe the Moravia district have a dean, but we still have the acting dean name on the souvenir.
All right. How the GSA get those? I want to start. No, don't make God do that. All right, with the issue of names and titles and all the kind of thing, just let's do that off the record and off the table right now, and we can find a way to correct those things for the next time. Thank you.
We want to say welcome to you, Dina Quinayu, Moriba Conan, as well as
So it's
Ibrahim
agreed
F. Tamba,
that this is accepted and adopted
Elijah
with all the corrections that are made and will be made.
Minister Mervyn Z. Balinga, and the rest of
Yes.
you. Want to say thanks for finding us, of course.
Okay.
This is an ITV Liberia 2 live coverage.
Yes,
And
I
we
say,
are just
I'm
right here at
referring
the
to that,
grounds
yes.
of the St. Mark Lutheran Parish here in Banga
Yes,
City,
yes.
Bon County, the Republic of Liberia, of course. I mean,
And I'm seeing
we are
yes
just
to
here
yes.
for this 165th anniversary celebration of the Lutheran Church in Liberia. Just 13 years longer than
Of
the
the Father's
Republic
Day
of
celebration,
Liberia.
Bishop.
So kindly follow us. Okay, so just give us your input and we will make sure to forward in.
Good morning to all.
Welcome to you. And welcome to you.
It is with great pleasure and thanksgiving that we've all gathered here for this 165th anniversary of our church. And in so doing, with your permission, I'd like to call this celebration now officially opened. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
And so it's been officially
We all
opened.
celebrate wherever we
Sumo,
better.
Piru Sumo
for the
Kokolo
image
wants
of
to
the church
welcome
and
to you as
Jesus.
well. You are following us
For the
from
group of
Luther
our
Seminary
church.
in the US.
Everyone here has the right to ask questions. They want to ask, have the right to
Okay,
help
so
us
we
how
are
we
going
move the
to
church
forward
forward.
that.
That's basically part of our celebration where we came.
Okay,
We want to see
okay.
how we can
Well
move the
taken.
church forward. And
Well
so we
taken,
are looking
for
forward
Larry
to
Mary. Well taken.
all of our contributions and points. Thank you. Welcome again.
Want to say welcome to you, Jerunjala.
Happy 165th anniversary.
So you can take up page 4 where Bishop greeting is in the 7 year. So you can follow as Bishop read his greetings. Okay.
Master Johnson, we want to say welcome to you.
Bien. Oh, okay.
And so Bishop's official greetings is going to be read by himself. It is going to be read by himself. Okay.
Our partners in mission, officers and members of the Executive Council of the Lutheran Church in Liberia, represented by elected officials here in District Dean, chairman of both institutions, projects and programs. Grace and peace to you from our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, our risen Lord. It is with great honor that we welcome all of you here these few days. We are grateful to have all of you, our partners in mission, I wish we had some of them here now, and members of the Lutheran Church through its parishes, preaching points, auxiliaries, and programs. It has been 1 year since we met to share with you our ministry of service during our last convention. Our activities of success and challenging. During that meeting, we informed you of our plans to work towards sustainability of the LCL. We envisage a strong move towards agriculture and infrastructural development. In that light, we have encouraged few of our parishes that have engaged themselves with some cash crop projects. Our thanks to some of these parishes that have grasped the idea and are working towards sustainability of their parishes. And I want to just name a few of them. I will not name all, not that they are not working. Onion Parish and Lutheran. They are very much involved in agriculture, oil palm projects, and they are progressing well. When I made a very large restaurant and planted oil palm in it, even though we had a little unfortunate situation, somebody put for burning their farm and fire ran to the palm farm, but God bless us. The farm was destroyed. Hember has started a cocoa project, but they began with a restaurant and now transplanting oil palm of cocoa into that rice farm. Ulubela Parish is also planting, Belefanai and Upper Bound District. As the oil palm project progresses, we are seriously working on the lowland rice production. We have written sustainability projects with some of our partners to support us with the Balama lowland rice project. As we speak, clearing and digging of swamps is ongoing. As we speak, over 8 acres of lowland swamp have been cleared for the project. We hope to produce locally rice, bagged rice, possibly for sale. The Training Institute still remains a challenge. We are doing everything to get it going. Thinking of it being a vocational training program, through LGS we have embarked on a small-scale training program for the student at the institution. The project got started with the agriculture department. The houses of the animals and the pig, the chicken have all been renovated. We now have pigs in a pen, and our second set of chicken is now delivered. The next stage of the project is to provide capacity for students to begin growing fish in our fish pond. About 4 of our ponds are already clear and ready for fish. LDS has informed us by next month we will have fish in those ponds. Part of our infrastructural development, the Bishop's Compound. Our plan for infrastructural development is high on our agenda. We are presently working on the Bishop's Compound. The building, when completed, will host the president and all other bishops who will desire to live there. We are pleased to inform you that the superstructure, that means the building, the walls, as you can see, the superstructure, concrete works and block laying are both completed. From foundation to roof level, all of the block works are done. By the end of next month, it is hopeful that plastering work will be done and work on the driver's house and security gate, the water tower will be ongoing. If God helps us, maybe by July, the bishop should be moving to that house. Part of our infrastructural development also target the project for the pastor centralized pay system. The issue of salary, as we all know, for ministers has been and still is a major challenge for our evangelism program. Most pastors, deacons, and evangelists hardly get salary. Most of them are paid below $10 to $50 United States per month and receive a month pay after 3, 4 to 5 months. Our plan is to tear down the warehouses, as I told you before, hosting the men and women offices, and build a fundraising conference hall for the purpose of supporting the centralized pay system. The conference hall will be assisted by the Diana K. Assistant Multipurpose Center and the Tower Head Project. Funds raised from these buildings will go towards the support of this special project. Talking about the Tower Hill property, we have entered into a second MOU with the East Company, this time the Chinese company and not the government, for the occupation of the place for an additional 3 years. The cost of the lease is at least 45,000 United States dollars per year. Second part of that project is the plan to transform the LCL compound. We want to change the compound around. If you stand on our compound and see it and look around you think you're in a little village. Because all the houses surrounding our compound are now story buildings and modern buildings. Before I read what I'm reading, I want to say we know development hurts, but we've got to be patient and let's only the hurts come and we'll go forward. So plan to transform the LCL compound is in 2 phases. The first is to also the guest house and the cafeteria for 5 years. Something we have done. The properties will be renovated at no cost to the LCL. Proceeds or profit from that will be distributed in percentages as follows. The first 3 years of the 5 years, the investor will get 80% and the LCL will get 20% at the end of every 6 months. The second 2 years, the investor will get 75% and the LCL will get 25% for the next 2 years. It will also agree if the agreement works fine and the development is okay, we may give additional 2 years to make it 7 years, and the last 2 years will be 30% for LCL, 70% for the investor. As I speak to you, the process has started. Anybody who goes on the compound now, you will see that there's a change. The small guest house that they call the D-wing going towards the school system have been totally renovated. When you get into it, it has its own bathroom. It was there before, but it now has a DSTV, a conference room, a bathroom, and a Wi-Fi. So when you rent the place, you stay there, you talk to anybody in America because you got Wi-Fi there, you got to use your good stuff. The cafeteria is also renovated to a very modern starter. You go there now, you want to eat African, American, European food, anything. Call for it, you'll get it. So that's the first phase of the transformation of the compound. The second phase is bigger. The plan to reconstruct the existing building into modern structure is ongoing. The new guest house will be in a 2-building apartment, each consisting of 5 levels. We now call it 5 stories. It is also proposed that there will be another 5-story apartment consisting of suites, apartment, social apartment, where people can rent for offices and office spaces, and the multiple building. While we continue to negotiate with the investors, we need your prayers for direction. You will have a chance to interact with the investors sometimes today after my presentation. He will be here and we can talk about what we want to see, what we want to do, so you can also be aware. I chose in this briefing and greeting to also address an issue that came up during the convention. And the issue has to do with it. It was told at the convention that time that there was a US 75,000 that was not accounted for. I'm sure you heard about it. Dear brothers and sisters, our partners, officers and members of districts, parishes, institutions, in our last financial report to the convention, the auditor's report revealed that documents needed to account for 75,000 United States dollars were not available. This hung a dark cloud over the financial operation of the LCL. I want to make clarity. The first clarity I would like to make is that the report did not state misappropriation. The money was misused but it stated that the documents were not found to say this money was really spent. I'm pleased to report to you that after careful check of folders, we found all receipts and even been satisfied by the auditor. Let me make it clear. We went back. Since the auditor said that we see paper for the money, I talked to the treasurer and the financial people to look. What we realized was that the paper for these were not in one folder. And the treasurer who had just taken over could not just lay a hand on it. So we had to go from place to place, looking from folders to folders, Finally, we discovered every receipt of voucher that contained the 75,000 that was not accounted for. And I want to say to you, all of those vouchers were signed by me. At that time, the treasure was nowhere a treasure for our church. The money, some of the money that were listed on those people were money that we have some missionaries who the whole year money can come. Like Marian Jara, who is a consultant to the Sunday school, a whole year school, working money came. They come and ride. We used the part of that voucher that was dancing. So we calculated everything and gave it to the auditor. And I can tell you, church, it amounted exactly 75,000 United States dollars. So nobody is. Nobody. You may have heard in recent time of a computer theft case. During the year under review, the financial office of the chief accountant was broken into, and the computer of the chief accountant and the director of the pension program were taken away. The case has since been reported to the police, and investigation is ongoing. As the police completes the investigation, working along with our legal team, we will officially inform you the outcome of that case. The Lutheran University. We are grateful to God first and to the board, Dr. Manapa and his staff for managing the university in these difficult financial times. We as a church long look for a university. Beginning any institution is just not easy. It is one thing to have a university and the other one to support it. At the beginning of the university itself had to find funding. The Lutheran Church in Liberia is another source of funding for running a university. And the Association of Liberian Lutherans in America, known as ALIA. All of us have been making contributions in some ways, but not definite on what our contribution will be for the support of this university. So you see, the Reverend King on top of when we got these things decided to discuss as part of our continuous celebration. How do we manage the university that we have built? I want us in this celebration thinking about that. That's why we got this thing in there. More progressive actions are being put in place for the growth of the university. The university is hosted on 3 campuses: Toluta, the main campus, Phoebe Central, and Esther Bacon in Zosa. Phoebe Esther Bacon College of Health Sciences is hosted by 2 campuses under the supervision of one dean, Humphrey Lowe. During the last semester, we hosted a little more than 500 students on all of our campuses. And so detail will be given to us by the university authority. For the university, a special month be set aside for raising funds by all parishes, districts, institutions, and authorities for fundraising. In our opinion, all schools should make a yearly contribution to the support of the university. But we are sure when our students leave from the high school, they want to go to Lutheran University, and a very good university, and we should be able to support all of us, even the school. I say this way, it is a disgrace to inform you that since we installed our president, we are not being able to pay him a month's salary. Yet and still, he's working. LCL 165 anniversary. We are grateful to God for such a rich history, Jesse was saying that today, of our church. Over 165 years, my dear esteemed brothers, sisters, leaders, and soldiers of the Lord's Vineyard, how good it is that we have all gathered here to celebrate this great occasion. Kindly receive my harvest Easter greeting, my appreciation, and my most profound gratitude for the work and services that have brought the Lutheran Church in Liberia thus far. We give gratitude to God for His appointment for this opportunity. Our history of 165 years of existence can never be told without mentioning the faithful services of dedicated servants like Reverend Morris Officer. It is not a mistake that the youth ministry is vibrant and plays an important role in the church, the Lutheran Church in Liberia. The founder of the Lutheran Church in Liberia, Reverend Officer, started ministry at the early age. He entered Wittenberg College in Ohio and became a fundraiser at the age of 20 in 1846. 2 years later, in 1848, he opposed the establishment of a Lutheran mission in Africa. By 1852, he sailed to Sierra Leone. After spending 18 months in Sierra Leone, he returned home and appealed to the Senate to sponsor a mission in Africa. In 1860, Reverend Officers and his assistant, Hekai, arrived in Monrovia and were received by the President of Liberia, who warmly welcomed him. He was given 300 acres of land designated for coffee and a small farm plantation. This great hero spent less than 1 year in Liberia. The 165th anniversary is a celebration of Thanksgiving and recognition of God's faithfulness to the Lutheran Church in Liberia for our faith journey, and that is our forefathers and mothers. 165 years of existence marks an appreciable and a significant milestone. I am grateful to God for the service of the Lutheran Church in the areas of evangelism, education and health, literacy, and diaconal work. This manifests the outline our commitment and dedication to Christ's mission. It is important to recognize the efforts and contributions of the missionaries, our past leaders, and the indigenous. The work of Reverend Officers, the late Bishop, Reverend Dr. Ezra Keller, Reverend Ronan J. P. Randall Deeps, and Reverend Emeritus Dr. Daniel Jensen Seyankolo. The Trapaya ministry, teaching, preaching, and healing of the Lutheran Church has made significant impacts in the development. Significant milestone would not have been made possible without recognizing the efforts of our fallen heroes and heroines through Phoebe and Corey hospitals. The mission has made 165 years. The church has had 3 great periods or stages. And somebody tried to talk about that, so I don't know what's behind my notes. Stage 1, the mission era. The church when first started, it was started as a mission church. And everything, I'm bringing this in simple word, was done purely by the missionaries. They did everything. And that era ran from 1860 to 1945. At this stage, work and ministry were left entirely to the missionary. The mission had 3 pastors and 2 institutions. Those institutions have always been Phoebe Hospital and Corbin Lutheran Hospital. Stage 2 was known as the Mission Church era. At this time, it was mixed up. The Liberian people were there, the white people were there. But what would happen in those times, if the white man was the president, then the black man, Liberian man, was the vice president. But I know history tells me most of the decision was still being made by the missionary, but there was then now a mission church where we have missionary and Liberian indigenous working together. The last stage was from 1947 to 1965, from 1947. No, the third stage was from 1965 to now. The birth of the 95 was then now known as the Lutheran Church in Liberia. During this time, these many years of existence, the church has struggled with self-governance. Today, the leadership of the church we can say, are all native Liberians. So we deal with that. We have also struggled to proclaim the gospel by ourselves. To some extent, we have achieved that. Our sticking point is that the third pillar, sustainability. How can we continue to run the hospital? How can we continue to run the church, the parish? How can we continue to run the schools and the evangelism department and the mission field? That's the sustainability. What can we do to pay our pastor, our bishop, and everybody and make development this church? Sustainability. That's what we're talking about. Making it our own. This year team honoring our legacy, renewing our commitments to Christ's mission, is inspired by Philippians 3:13 to 14. Forgetting what lies behind us, steaming forward to what is ahead, Paul says, I press on towards the goal for the prize of the upward call of God in Christ Jesus. The Lutheran Church in Liberia has made tremendous contribution to the people of Liberia and the world. Our history shows that we were exporters of coffee to Great Britain during the early days of our mission. But also we share with the world our rich heritage of love and humility. Everybody who comes to Liberia, if you have never heard it, they will say to you, the people of Liberia are loving. They are humble people. That's something we have also shared. Even though we may not have given them physical care, but we have given them something. On the other hand, not only that we were the first Lutheran mission in Africa's history of medical works, our medical works are high in our legacy. Our early educational program brought enlightenment to many men and women of this country, even outside this country. If you notice, some people who went to LTI came from Ghana and other countries around because of the kind of education LTI was giving people. Most of our government officials those days sent their children to one of these mission schools. LTI was one of them. If you don't go to the Baptist mission, you want the Lutheran mission. The book will take the children from all the way behind Broadway and send them to Lutheran mission.
Okay, we are going to do that, Mr. Madden. We are going to do
As
that.
we commemorate 165 years of God's faithfulness, we are reminded of the vision and labor of our forefathers who laid the foundation of our church. This milestone offers a unique opportunity to reflect on our rich heritage, celebrate the progress we have made, and commit and recommit ourselves to advancing Christ's mission in the rapidly growing world. I appeal to all of us to support the mission that started 165 years ago. We cannot boast of being the oldest Lutheran church when we cannot support ourselves. We must give our times, talents, and possessions for the growth of the church. We must forget that the missionaries for us or they did not teach us to give, and establish a new attitude of growth and mission. A vibrant church is a self-supported church. To all of us gathered here, and also to those who couldn't come, we must all leave our differences and join hands to build this church. I'm grateful to all of you for your services, but we need to double up as well. Long live the Lutheran Church in Liberia. Long live the faithful services we all have rendered. Thank you, and God bless you. And I say it again, happy 165 anniversary.
And so that was the voice of the Bishop of the Lutheran Church in Liberia, the Right Reverend Dr. G. Victor Batmo, there giving his own greetings as part of the formalities marking nativities here at this 165th anniversary celebration year. Of course, I mean, it coincides with the Founders Day. And actually, please share this live broadcast, of course.
Up to now, not gotten any written greeting from any government official. Well, in a sense, here, only one. Brother, I'm calling him brother because he's a member of the Lutheran Church in Liberia, and that's Brother Josiah Jockey, who are also ready to attend this program. Unfortunately, this weekend he's burying his mother-in-law. So he wrote me back to say he was sorry that he could not be here, something he would have loved to do, but because of this incident, and he would not be here, but he wished us a happy celebration and God's blessing.
Nathaniel Tupa, welcome. Minister Chris.
All those greetings will be read as they come. So we're not going to wait on them. We'll move on because of the respect of time. That's what I would suggest.
Master Johnson. Yeah, and the rest of you keep sharing this live broadcast, of course. But here comes the immediate past Bishop Emeritus of the Lutheran Church in Liberia, the Right Reverend Dr. Daniel Jensen Siankolo. There he goes.
Praise the Lord. Amen. We want to, in a special way, recognize Right Reverend Dr. D. Jensen Siankolo, Bishop Emeritus, Lutheran Church in Liberia, who is a guest here and who will also be speaking to the convention on a special topic here. So before we continue, we want to invite Ramata, the head of the National Women Fellowship, to take our Bishop Emeritus.
And so the head of the National Women Fellowship is also going to form part of this. She's going to tag the Bishop Emeritus. She's going to tag Bishop Emeritus.
In Jesus'
as well
mighty
as
name.
welcoming him into
In
this.
Jesus' wonderful name. Are you happy to be at this Father's Day? Yes. Please put your hand together for Jesus. Bishop Emeritus, right wearing Dr. D. Jensen Siankolo. We want to wholeheartedly welcome you to this 165th celebration. And we also want to thank you. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Blessed Holy Spirit. Now you're welcome.
And so he's been welcomed. He's been tagged and presented a souvenir to form part of this Father's Day celebration.
For this celebration, this
That is held under the theme honoring our legacy, renewing our commitment to Christ's mission, taken from text Philippians chapter 3, verse 13 to 14.
Praise the Lord. Do we have in our midst Brother Walter Gwanangala Jr.? Are you here, Walter? Come on, Walter.
Okay, so yeah,
is Brother Jim over here also? Jim?
Special.
Well, he'll be here. I thought he was somewhere after Kakata coming. Brother Jim over. Okay, Brother Walter Gwanangala is the son of Dr. Walter Gwanangala. But he's representing, he'll be sitting in one of our discussions, maybe around 1 or 2 persons. He's representing Father Pio Suba, who should have been leading the discussion on sustainability. So Walter is going to sit in just to lead the discussion. All of us will be a part of it, but Walter is going to be welcome, Walter. You already got tag on you. They put one you? Yes, no, we're not that. But welcome. Thank you.
We ask you to keep sharing this live broadcast, of course, to the different Lutheran platforms that you are a part of. Keep sharing this broadcast, especially for those who cannot make their way here, so they can as well follow on this occasion marking the 165 anniversary taking place here in Banga City, Bon County.
For the purpose of this discussion, I'm going to leave this table. We don't happen to do it. You will come to this table. Come to my yes, Lord. So, our discussion is on the topic ensuring financial independence, the alternative for funding and investment strategy for the Lutheran Church in Liberia. Brother Gordon, my small brother, will take over from me here, not as a bishop. But to lead this discussion, all right, so what we say here is that when people, we want to just brainstorm together. What can we do? So say they tell you for all, so we can hold it, make it for all. Huh? What can we do? That's a discussion. So, welcome.
Thank you, Bishop. Thank you, LCL, and good afternoon. Or, no, it's still good morning. We've got a few more minutes. Last week, I was informed, or was asked to fill in for my uncle Piwu Zuba, who is a member of St. Andrews, but had to travel home to be with his spouse in the States and do some follow-up. So, the content of what we'll be presenting and using as the context for our discussion is work that was done by him. So thank you. Also, I would like to thank the Lutheran Church in Liberia for your continued support to not only me, my family, but also the healthcare ministry of the Lutheran Church in Liberia. It was 3 years ago during your convention that my father passed away. His success in his mission and the work for the Lutheran Church in Liberia happened only because he was supported by you. And so I took this opportunity to fill in for Father Piwu Zuba, just to have the opportunity to say thank you today. My family's success and its growth with the Lutheran Church in Liberia has been because of you people. His desire to serve his church was because he loved you people. And we truly, truly appreciate the love that we received from you while he was in service at the Lutheran Church in Liberia. But in his passing, we continue to receive that love. So thank you so much for your continued support and your continued love and assistance to us as a family. We will be with you in your journey and your walk. This topic is a good topic to discuss and to brainstorm about as a group, because many changes have happened to us over the last couple of years, but specifically beginning in January of this year. So the topic that we're trying to discuss today talks about ensuring financial independence and looking at alternative funding and investment strategies for the Lutheran Church in Liberia. To give a little context for our discussion today, let's just begin with acknowledging that the world has changed and has changed so drastically with the new dispensation by the United States external aid programs. Those programs have abruptly been terminated. Simultaneously, numerous international collaborative mechanisms have been brought into question. The imposition of tariffs is now routine, but has far-reaching implications for trade and the global economic order. Stock markets have tripped sharply. Investors adopted more cautious posture, and the trade value of the dollar has trembled against major currencies. Every nation must fend for itself. Reciprocal actions vary. We're seeing trade wars. We see deal makings around the world. We see realignment of economic rationalization, and many, many other things are happening. Pretty much the way we work, the way we receive aid doesn't come that way anymore. Africa is at the receiving end of this shift. The continent is a leading recipient of international aid. Africa has not only a strong linkage to aid, but an overwhelming dependence on external resources. Our church is part of that. Churches, faith-based institutions are greatly affected. They were established and operated on the premise of a stable outflow of help from distant sources. But those sources are similarly confronted with survival challenges. We are one of those institutions confronted with survival challenges today. The Lutheran Church is a great church. Our growth has been up and down, but we are still one of the largest churches in the Republic of Liberia. Today, our dependency on external aid has stagnated our growth, and we have to begin to think differently. The Lutheran Church in Liberia is caught up in this entrapment. It is a mainline church with membership largely drawn from a vast rural-based populace. Its setup since 1860 was by missionaries from the north. The Lutheran Church in Liberia became a national church in the mid-1960s, but there has been no significant change in its support structure. To the contrary, matters have worsened with the consistent reduction of aid from our traditional partners in mission. I know each and every one of us here can attest to that and feel those pressures in one way, shape, or form. At 165 years of existence, what is the way forward for the Lutheran Church in Liberia? So let's think about a few, and maybe will lead us to some thoughts or some more contribution to our discussion. The Lutheran Church in Liberia must adopt a resolute posture. We must begin to think outside of the box. As a church, we need to make a clear decision regarding our own very existence in mission in 165 years. We must decide where the LCL is going and how we get there. And how we get there, mostly on our own. What is the status of the core called mission? Our missions have always been around evangelism, healing, and teaching. What are these programs noted for? Are there clouts in these programs that can be drawn on to support the church existence? Are there existing institutions like our schools, LTI and others, noted for the quality service that they want provided? If not, why not? How are other programs such as HIV and AIDS prevention, trauma healing, and peace building faring? Are these sources of support or burden to the Lutheran Church in Liberia? What holdings does the church have in real property, national and at the parish level? What is the outlook of the brand new Lutheran University? And maybe lastly, what does it take to break from the past? As a recipient of aid, we have modeled ourselves as a dependent church. Not an independent church, but a dependent church. We need a sweeping shift. New programming with a focus on self-help through investments. We also need to take into consideration and look at the need to undertake a multi-year strategic plan. In developing that multi-year strategic plan, we need identification of long-term objectives and mapping out how the church short-term goals, work, and interventions are directed at achieving our vision as a 21st century church in Africa. We have to disaggregate the plan by districts. Church members at the district, parish, and parish levels need to see themselves in that plan. That plan needs to have some key features. And in looking at those features, we should consider a few things. We should consider de-emphasizing external aid. We need to look at reducing our reliance on aid and build new alliances. The agenda for assistance should be inspired by the needs outlined in whatever our strategic plan puts out. We need to diversify our income sources. That means multiple income sources give assurance of stability. The church will be less influenced by external development when we do this. And then giving. Giving by our members is a good practice of stewardship. It, however, needs to be upgraded from our traditional plate offerings to include tithes and targeted contributions by members. Teachings are required for adequate orientation of our members. Investment. You know, our partners, sometimes we don't feel this way. Our partners left us rich. Maybe not rich with tons of money in our bank accounts, but rich with things that we can use as investment tools to build wealth. Investment. Investment must be adopted as a ready means of income diversification. Investment should be seen as a means of building and strengthening capacity of the church and its related organizations to achieve desired outcomes. The point of departure for an investment pitch in the church is to undertake a comprehensive asset management program nationwide. We need to identify resources that are idle, wasted, or just not under the control or reach of the church. We also need to establish a full inventory and gather all data needed for investment programming. Another part in achieving our goal or outcome here is to promote localization. Promote the use of local resources to the fullest. Many of you sitting here come from congregations that do have resources. How do we use those resources to build our church? Court local businesses and the private sector in general. your local business and your private sectors are filled with members associated with your church and organization. Commercialized infrastructure, hire out facilities including land to responsible private sector actors. For example, do we have land around LTI that can be used in gathering funding for our church? Does Phoebe Hospital have land around it that can be used in means that support the work of the church? Are there existing assets that are not being fully used, and how do we tap into it? We need to look at developing partnerships with local entities and communities. Foster community-driven development. This is commonly done by NGOs, but it can also be applicable elsewhere. Communities and members at the grassroots level are in general the best judge of what benefits them. So it's very, very important to engage our communities from the planning, design, implementation, and the assessment of activities. And last but not least, do not be bashful in seeking assistance on matters of technical or specialized matters. Don't hesitate to hire and use experts or ask a mission partner to find the requisite personnel required to develop an investment program, or develop a real estate venture, or consider investing in a primary forest that sits on your deeded land or church property. Brothers and sisters, these are just initial thoughts, and I hope they provoke other thoughts in your mind and allow you to contribute to a discussion about how we as a church can sustain ourselves and move forward. I want to thank you all for this short time and have an opportunity to open up for suggestions and comments, or even questions if you do have them. Thank you so much.
We, on behalf of the Bishop, extend thanks to Walter T. Guanigala Jr. on leading this discussion on ensuring financial independence, alternative funding and investment strategies for the Lutheran Church in Liberia. You've listened to the presentation. We will now open the floor for guided discussion, guided in the sense that will come from young people, men and women, and other visitors. And we are happy to see in our midst Mr. Moba. Thank you for coming. Since this question focuses on investment opportunities, why it is necessary to ask the questions, we will also appreciate the questions are guided towards the presentation with the intent of helping us to develop an alternative investment strategy for the LCL to minimize dependence on foreign support, but also continue to uphold our partnership in interdependence. Thank you very much, and we'll now ask the ushers to take the mic, and when the hand is raised, you recognize, you make your contribution. What we don't have is a secretariat to jot down, oh, you're there, to jot down the highlights. Thank you very much. So we ask the usher to please come and take the mic, and then we begin the discussion based on the presentation. Councilor Peter W. Howard, LCL Legal Counsel.
Thank you for the recognition, Pastor McKee. From what I gather, and if I should put it in a nutshell, it will be that what can we do as a people, a church, that will result into the church sustaining or being able to sustain itself. Mr. Wenigali, you made mention of certain things in your discussion, like diversifying income, getting involved in agricultural activities, by identifying lands that may not be encroached upon. And also defining assets that may be lying in waste. My own way of contributing, firstly, is that if we actually and really want to sustain ourselves as a church, our approach, or we should be led towards agriculture. Agriculture will lead us to self-sustainability. I said this some time ago, and I will say it here again. Daniel Webster once said, and I quote, "Let us never forget that the cultivation of the earth is the most important labor of man. When tillage begins, all other arts follow. And therefore, the farmers are those who started civilization, or are the founders of civilization." So we have land in various places in this our parish, but we're not putting it to use. So I would think, and what we propose is that what we would do is the parishes, for example, the Lutheran Church in Liberia, the central office, could get involved with the various parishes and assign a memorandum of understanding. The Lutheran Church will invest a minimum amount in this project, agricultural project, be it vegetable, be it tree crops, or whatsoever form of agriculture, any animal husbandry. Lutheran Church will invest a reasonable or minimum amount, and the parishes will come up with the labor force. And after harvest, the Lutheran Church will take a certain percentage, and the other percentage go to the parishes.
Thank you, Council. Thank you.
I'm
just saying the point you raised is very cogent. Honor the diversification of income resources or income sources. You're talking something like MOU with parishes to ensure agriculture, investment in agriculture on a shared income basis. So thank you for the proposal. We have 45 minutes.
Okay.
We have one less time. Okay. So thank you very much. Is there? We want to be gender sensitive, and we'll take the veteran pastor pay.
Thank you.
You have a minute.
Okay. Walter, I have a concern. You talk about the lands we have, Phoebe, Tututa, Lutheran Training Institute. These are areas that I have worked in. I'm very familiar with the situation. The lands are grants to the Lutheran Church in Liberia. What is said of Phoebe land is that it's granted to the Lutheran Church in Liberia, and for the ministry, the healing ministry, it is a non-for-profit. Whenever Phoebe or the Lutheran Church in Liberia ceases to carry on that ministry, the land goes back to the people, to the government, or the people that give it to us. I think the same is with LTR and Zozo and Tututa. My concern is how can we translate these grants into a deeded property to the Lutheran Church in Liberia. So when people are encroaching, we can take them to court.
Thank you. So the understanding of the question is to seek legal counsel to study how the LCL can resurvey, talk with the government to resurvey and make the properties theirs to ensure that they are used for income generation for the sustainability of the church.
Well, there are a couple of things that we can look at. First thing is, even on granted land, and with the understanding that it is for a non-for-profit purpose, right? If what is being generated on that land goes into the mission of the non-for-profit work that we do, it's still a non-for-profit work. It is true that in assessing our assets, we should be looking at land that is deeded, granted, and figuring out ways to make those lands permanent structures. I believe that there are laws established that allows that. Sometimes if you've been sitting on it for almost 100 years, naturally you can work with the government. But on granted property, you can actually engage in activity on that property as long as it supports the nonprofit interest of that church's mission. So if you're planting rice on Phoebe land and that rice is in turn used to provide nutrition for your patients in the hospital, right? It still meets the intent of why that land was granted to us in the first place. But the reason we spoke of assessing all our assets is to be able to get a clearer understanding on what is owned by the church, what is owned by parishes, and how we can best use them. But it is a very, very good suggestion that we start to look at what makes our areas that we work in permanently ours as Lutheran Church in Liberia. Thank you.
Yes. Behind you.
My name is Billy Harris. I want to first say thanks to almost going back to, right? Mr. Goingari for your presentation. It was very impressive. And I sat in my seat thinking on what I have seen and heard about the LCL properties around us in Liberia here. The thought that really struck me is how do we get these properties, especially the land, for example, in the case of Harrisburg and other areas, Toyota, that I know of. These properties, many of them have been fought. If I should say fought, people who took them illegally, they get ready and take just any harmful thing to find when the LCL is going for the land. My question is, how do we get this land back when some of these people are relatives, some are pastors, some are friends? How do we get this land back?
We may have other ideas that are out there, but one of my suggestions is in creating an asset management team that looks at the assets across the whole Lutheran Church in Liberia, we should make sure that our asset management team is inclusive of attorneys who are given the authority to act on behalf of the church in securing the church's property. We need to go out there and look at what deeded properties we currently have and which properties we sit on that we don't even understand where the deeds are at, and create a team that actually can address it. If we do have an asset management team that is permanently in place, and that team is widely communicated within the Lutheran Church in Liberia, when you have these challenges, you should be able to go to that team that has a legal expert to begin to say, how do we do the research necessary and work along with land commission to actually get to where you need to get to. We don't want you going into your communities and fighting with your family members. What belongs to the LCL is LCL's. And you should put that in the hands of LCL to look into it and work with it. In issues that can be mitigated at the parish level because they are minor, we encourage that also. But I think that asset management team with the requisite staff to be able to do the right kind of investigations and the right kind of interventions and actually put forth the applicable laws, I think we can actually beat those challenges. We will not win everything, but we have to start somewhere.
Yes.
Thank you, young dad. That's how we used to call your daddy. So I'll be happy if I call you dad. Just before you came to present to us, the bishop was reading a document that I consider almost like a report. And in that document, we are told that there is a new endeavor that is going to somehow transform the remaining land space on the LCL headquarter land. So my concern when you say there should be the idea of assessing our property in order to have an asset committee, my question would be, we have been told in the past that bulk of the land situated on that compound has been leased. I don't know for how many years. But in order to establish a committee that will take care of the remaining land and other properties around there, I am interested in knowing what has happened to the leased land. Are they still part of LCL asset? If yes, what has happened to it? And what can we as LCL members learn from this meeting to be able to go and say?
It is my understanding, and I'm just going to speak from, I do not know the processes of leased lands at our national headquarters. The church has an executive committee and the bishop and the staff associated with that committee, and I am not aware of that. What I can tell you though, that the word lease means just that to me. It's leased, and if it's leased, it's still the property of the Lutheran Church in Liberia. The question then becomes how the produce or the funding from that lease is being used in uplifting the church, and that's questions you have to ask from those engaged in that process. My presentation here looks at the global church, right? And I think your question is very, very fair, but as a presenter today, I'm not aware of the specifics regarding that. I know globally though, we need to look at all our assets, and that even our lease assets should be inclusive of any asset management program, and we should be able to discuss the realization of funding from that lease. But I think that question can be better answered from those who are part of that process. I will hope that anything moving forward, any greater plan designed, is inclusive of all existing leases, so we know where we currently stand, what's coming in and what's going out.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Walter Boningali, Jr. Well, but what I see in this thing when it comes to the Lutheran Church, traveling from one stage to another, I hate to say it, but I think I will say it. Most of the time, I want to observe it comes from the vision bearers. We have land, like he talks about land in Lofa. But I think those who are supposed to implement these projects, some of them may be thinking that, but I'm already stepping out, or I'm already old. So if I plan this thing, I think I will not even benefit anything from it. So now, to support and honor the legacy that we made with people, 165 years. Now up to now, we don't even have a plantation. We don't even have rubber farm. We went to Belgrade, we worked there, we put rubber on nursery to be transplanted. But you go there, that rubber now overgrown. So now the thing is, when you really determine that we want to have a project that will help to boost the Lutheran Church, I think those who are involved in it should take it to heart. To say, yeah, we're doing enough for me, but the future generation. Now today, we are 165 years old. The leaders that came in a few days now pushing for University of Liberia. Lutheran University of Liberia. Those years from that time up to now, what can we boast of? So my suggestion is, we make use of the land we have. Whether it's a grant, we been having those land as a grant 165 years ago. So we'll just be laying down there like that. And the membership of the church.
We have ladies who want to talk. We can't take all of the
They are coming.
So
they are encroaching on the property. So they not what we need to do. If we're taking one project like Pam, let's be very focused about it and serious about it and make sure we do it to the finish.
Thank you. Before I take one more from here, let me say this. We can talk about what has passed, all the different things. I think the position of this presentation is to say, how do we go forward?
Thank you, yeah.
Right? No errors are there. What can we do to do the best we want to do now? So we can lay all the history we want to lay on how it happened in the past. Now we are where we are. How do we move on? Reverend John Smo was next. John Smo.
Bishop, I've been spending a long time. Bishop.
Okay, then wait, I will come back to you. I didn't see you. I don't recognize John Small, so just wait, I will come back to you next. I beg you.
Thank you, Bishop. I have a few concerns. He said we are 165. Thank God we are this age. But then my point is that as a church, I use this term on us because it's happening literally. We are acting like baby worms. And what does baby worm do? Baby worms have the habit that when you tie them up in the parcel, with the green leaves. It will continue to eat all of the leaves around it, until in the future it will just fall outside. It will be thinking that it still being part of. It has, when your body close up on him or on it. But the idea is that as far as it has continued to eat the leaves that cover it up, it will be exposed. We as Lutherans, we are the same people using up our land, using up the church land for our own benefit, and in fact forgetting to know that the future generation needs to survive too as a church. If you look around our properties, in Zozo, the same members, the same Lutherans are the ones encroaching on the property. The same people in Torita, the same people in Phoebe. My idea is that until the leadership take a stand to put stop to this unnecessary usage of the land, the next generation will just be for the outside thinking that they are covered. So are we prepared? Many of our past bishops, many of our past leaders were involved in some of these activities, and today we are looking at it. We don't want to take action. We don't want to be pursuing it because we say, oh, we are one. We are one when of course you are no more in authority, but the leadership that you had, the decision you took has affected us as present generation.
Thank you.
So my concern is that we should put stop to these things, and even those who are involved in should be persecuted and material from there be what? Confiscated.
Yes, you.
Thank you, Reverend, for recognition. My name is Bakoli Diggs, Council Chair, St. Paul, Kata Parish. For way forward, Bishop and Honorable Beningale, I want to suggest that the Executive Committee of the Lutheran Church in Liberia wants to do a committee, right, that will investigate from parish to parish, sit with the leadership, and investigate what do they have that can be used to develop itself in the parish and the Lutheran Church in Liberia. Even including the central office. This committee should go from the central office to the parish, sit with the leadership and ask, what do this parish have, what do you have that we can use to develop yourself and the LCL. Other than that, our bishop will talk here, and people will express what happened in the past and will not say anything that will go further. Thank you.
Brother Mulva behind there.
Okay, I'm Mulva from Peaceful United Lutheran Parish. I think we are here to solve a problem. How do we improve on fundraising and investment? It says strategy. How do we come up with a strategy when you have not identified a problem? How do you solve how do you come up with a strategy if you do not have a problem? Now, let's just put it the other way around. We talk about fundraising. Let's improve on fundraising, that's our goal. Let us really just improve on what? Fundraising. Now, let us identify what are the impediments. What are the impediments that are creating this problem that we cannot raise funds in the Lutheran Church? We want to raise funds, we want to improve on fundraising. But what is responsible that we cannot raise this fund? When you have a stakeholder meeting, people will be able to identify those problems that is impeding, that limiting us not to raise our fund. Right in there, you develop a strategy. And developing such strategy, you're going to have something we call what? Result-focused strategy, what? Planning. You have to identify those impediments and then prioritize which one can we tackle to help us to solve this problem. I close my case. Thank you.
Thank you. We all still coming to the point of having a committee, a group of people to look at that. Okay, I will take now we can't take everybody because of the time. We take like about 15 more minutes in it. Then we move. I'll take and I'll take a female.
Thank you, Bishop. We come to fund a way forward.
Right.
What can we do? we are our own problem. Lutherans are now committed to ourselves. And so the way out for me is all of us sitting in here know that before an institution grows, everybody have to play their part either by giving or contributing in terms of work. So if we are not doing that, as an individual, all of us need to commit ourselves to the process. And how can that be done? Through teaching and also transformation of some of our protocol we have in the church. The democracy we are having inside here is creating some problem for us, which is a very good one for us to do, but we have to be committed to the process. We sit in here, all of us know at the various parishes, when you go there, pastor will say, let's go on the farm. Remember now, want to go on the farm. Pay the money. Remember now, want to go pay. Every time they want to depend either on central office to build churches in the rural area. We are our own problem. All the planning we want to do here, you will have the strategic plan, you have everything. We are the implementer. Unless we decide to say we are Lutheran and we can do it, everything we do here is for nothing. My suggestion, let's commit ourselves and let's change the teaching. Let the pastor change the teaching method in the various parishes to help members understand what is to be done. Thank you.
Sister Mother and then Reverend King.
Thank you very much, Bishop. I'm from Matthias Speaker. When God called Moses, he asked him, what is in your hand?
The theologian, right?
Yeah. So, the Lutheran Church, we all know that we have lots of land, like our presenter said, and we members, we know. So then we have land. What are we doing with these lands? If we decide to have things done on it, it will be done. The Lutheran Church have land and parishes have land. And I know those lands that parishes have, they are for the Lutheran Church. Because parish don't have their own thing. And other lands that Lutheran Church have, maybe from partners or other things. We want to do work. For an example, the Moravian Women wants to do projects. We've asked the Lutheran Church for land and we can't get land to do our project. And our project, like somebody said, if you give somebody the land and you go into deal and you tell them what percentage you need as church, and then the person what percentage they will also have as investor. Why can't we open up what in our hand? Why can't we use it? We need to use it. Right now, Moravian women looking for land to buy now because Lutheran Church don't want to give us land to do project. So we need to use what we have. Please, thank you.
All right, Reverend King.
Thank you, Walter, for your presentation. We talk about investment. And please help me to be very practical. How and what do you really mean when you say investment? This is not our first time. When the Lutheran World Federation World Service was operating in Liberia, some of those guys told us point blank, as a church, you are limited to only the proclamation of the word and sacraments. Forget about anything that has to do with getting money. That is not your area. And now am I understanding you there? You say this is about time that we look for money. Hey, Bishop, you said in your deliberation, you talk about sustainability. I kind of like, what is the difference between self-support and self-sustainability? What do we have to sustain? When even the few that you use as bishop, the local church is not providing. Then how we come to see we are self-supportive, come from serve governance to serve propagation and to serve support. Then we are moving from there to serve sustenance. Bishop, help me. When I was youth director, I bought land in Zienzo, 51.22 acres. I did not only stop there, I did it and probated it. I did not stop there. I planted rubber. Where is Penazo? How far have you gone in terms of developing that land? My intention was to make it 75% of rubber plantation so that the young people will sustain themselves in their programs. To what extent have they gone in terms of improving that place and getting moved? Am I understanding you that this what you mean by investment? And that example that I give?
The boy heard it. Jenny. Just know that we will not take everybody because of the time.
My name is Jenna Mumbo, and I'm also a member of the Stewardship Board. Somebody said that how can you form a strategic group or committee without you finding the problem? We already know our problem in the Lutheran Church. One of our problems is insincerity. Another one is we are mean to ourselves. We cannot give. Those are our problems. We know our problems. We have these properties. They've been lying there in room. So forget about what the others have taken. You already have some. Earmarks those that you have and see as to how far you will go into developing them. That should be our problem now, our main priority right now, as to how we can earmark those property and see how best we will try to improve them. Lease. You can also lease your property if you wish to, because you will be having a return on a lease property. It's also a way of sustaining yourself through the lease, because if you lease a property, you will be able to develop the one that you think you can develop. And Bishop, I'm so sorry, because the last time I think we met you in consideration for $75,000, $54,000, computer, and whatsoever that going to be seen whatsoever. And as stewardship board member, we have not been informed. I'm just hearing it here that you people gathered those documents and even went to the auditor without even getting to us. So what are we there for? We are there to make sure that your resources are being managed as stewardship board. And when those things are happening, if we are not informed, and let's see how best we take the step towards making sure that those things will not happen, even if it happens, it being a minimum form. We have not been informed. So our problem is ourselves. If we can try to be sincere to ourselves and move forward, I think God will help us to move forward. Thank you very much.
Now we gotta be careful. We can't football all of that. Let's I think the information that will take one more pastor. We will take 3 more presidents. He's on the time, and we have to move on. Because almost all of what we're saying is just centered around. We need a group of people to help us develop the strategy and the way to begin and move on. So I will take, who's that information? Yes, go ahead. It shall be short. They don't have a body up. Okay.
I just want to say something what my sister have just said, Jenny. You know, people have a tendency of abusing rights. The issue of just forgetting about what have been taken away from LCL, people will always have the mind of taking away. So once there is no action taken for people to know that indeed LCL own property, they will always take it because LCL will forget about it. So that's just the information that action should be taken.
Thank you, Bishop. Thank you, Bishop. I think the essence, the little exercise conducted by my brother Walter is to kind of stimulate all of us here as to what positive actions can be taken. You are our bishop. What is your plan? We have the land. What do we want to do? The land in Lofa and other counties, people are encroaching. That we all know about it. To prevent the encroachment, do we want to sit down with the community people and do some investment? Okay, we sign a lease agreement so that the property can be taken completely. But that's what I want to say concerning the farm. We talk about leasing these properties, some of the areas. We know in our parishes nowadays people hardly want to work for the parish. Take for instance, 2 or 3 years or a year for palm investing into the palm agriculture area, especially palm or rubber. 250 acres of land, the parishes say, look, this is our project. That is, you get your committee set up, the agricultural action committee, identify these places that we want to invest in. Not just go get one parish, that committee can strategize in terms of teams. If it is 10 acres you want to invest in or 50 acres, do your plan. Contract it either to the parishes in that area and they sign the agreement. You're not going to just carry money. In the community, in the villages, people take contract to work for individuals and they make their farms. And at the end of the day, they pay them. It's not going to be on a gratis. They think that's what we call investment. It is money that brings money.
Okay.
So since it is money that brings money, Bishop, let's set up a team. We already know the properties here. And if it is in this county we want to invest in oil palm and it become something that we can work into and achieve it, let's go into it with some of the money that we generate from properties in other places that you'll be leasing. But you too will have to have your own plan that you'll be presenting to the committee and say, look, this is our plan, this is how I think that we should get involved with it. Other than that, we'll come out here tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, we'll be saying the same thing.
Thank you. Thank you. We still sitting around the committee. And only one word I like from you is money brings money. And so if I don't get money, I can't spend money. Sorry, somebody up their hand. That's the last man I would take. That's you. Don't put your hand down.
Yeah, that's you.
You're not man. I'm man, that woman.
Which one?
Thank you, Bishop.
Then I will take one woman. The woman I will see her head there. Maybe I will take one you. Because one of them will plow.
My name is Topa Yufapla, chairman of this great parish in Mass. I stand to be corrected. After the presentation by Father Bolingale, I overheard Reverend Mageba saying there is no secretary to jot down points or we discuss it. If that is true, that's what I said to be corrected. That's one of our failures. But the fact that
no, that's not true. We got somebody now who writes it.
Well, it was said by him.
Yeah, no problem. We were there at 25.
Yeah. So my question is, I want to ask the bishop. Every time we meet as a church, this topic always being discussed. My question is, we met into the plan. They were appointed as a committee for some way for our business. So Bishop, can you please update us about this committee to the Plans update? Committee update, please. Thank you.
Can you take one more?
All right. Well, the last female, and no female. Now we'll take a man and take a you, and then we move on. Woman behind here? Yeah. Okay. All right. Reverend, you know that pastor for that female. Let's close up for the female.
Good afternoon to all. I'm Reverend Janice Feju Gono, pastor of St. Peter's Lutheran Church. And it is good that we are back here again as a church to talk about how we can be able to financially run our church. Because the financial health of the church is very important to the spiritual health of the church. And until we can realize that, we'll always be sitting and looking up to people. Like my sister said, there are a lot of things in our hands, but we need to be motivated to take action. They're just discussing. The church, depending on the area you are, you can get involved into earnest income generating activities. It can be through business, it can be through agriculture, and whatsoever. But many times we don't. So for me, like from the head office, we need to conscientize our people. Even ourselves, we need to discover as LCL, what is it that we want to do? And if LCL begin to identify what they want to do, LCL got the platform to be able to raise that money which they need. If, for example, LCL identifies something that costs 10,000, 15,000, 50,000, 1 million, you don't think LCL can come to all of us, the members, and raise that money? It can be done. And so long we got the plans, and the plans are convincing, people will. Sometimes we have land, we lease the land, we use the money for something different. If you lease a land, invest what you have leased. That lease money, I was saying here to break. St. Peter's had 2 lots on 11th Street. We leased it for a little over 1 million. We invested 1 million. By next month or by this year, it is possible we'll be getting around 50,000 a year or more from the 3-story buildings we have built. The members also put money together and built. You were there last year. It did not come from anywhere, it came from us. It is time to take action. We're talking too much. Let us do something. If it is to raise chicken, if you're from the village, raise your chicken. That's what people did in Tanzania. If it is to raise pig, pepper, you want to do pepper garden, build up a garden, start that. You will see the result. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you.
And that's the voice of the Reverend Janice Fetugono, Senior Pastor of the St. Peter's Lutheran Parish there in
Thank you very much, Lord Bishop. I'm Ibrahim Kimova, Secretary General of the National Lutheran Fellowship. Thank you for
Shall we be quiet? Can we?
Alright, so I think we all are saying the same thing, but I don't want to put it in a very simple way. You see, the Lutheran Church, we are very rich, like Mr. Gordon said. Even though the missionaries never left money in tons in the bank, but they have created a condition where we have the material resources to generate funding. I'm from Bapulu County. I can tell you almost 70% of Bapulu, the townships and commissioners are owned by, they are Lutherans. In fact, Ray P is there, he can very listen to that. So the issue about land is not an excuse. You go in Simple Road District, we can give you, Ramagi can even put here time to give you almost the whole Bapulu. I'm just exaggerating. But we have the land there for that. Ray King said something about Zenzu. We have the land in Zenzu, but one of the problem we have is if we are the very Lutheran party Lutheran. We will try to take our land. In January, Ray Penn Nazo, the national president of our Zenzu, it was surprising to know that one of the Lutheran has started encroaching on the farm land we have there to the extent it serious violence one of the first Ray Penn. That his father was the one who brought the church here, and you know, the SYZ, and after settling down, we decided to buy the land. Why he can cut the raw that we plan to be harvesting, you want to cut it to be making coal. So you see some of the challenges we face. We have people who are among us are creating a very problem for us. Lastly, Bishop from my angle, the issue of scholarship for the young people. Because the issue, you people, some of you, sorry to say, you are 10 feet away from the grave with the young people coming. You know, we need So we need starting opportunity for the young people. Because he said those that raise the chicken and they don't want to eat the eggs. So please raise us with the young people so that tomorrow we can be able to produce eggs and also eat some of the eggs in Jesus' mighty name.
Amen. So that was a nice one there, and a member of the youth, National Lutheran Youth Leadership in.
We have an online platform that is monitoring what is happening. Perhaps they from the diaspora or wherever they may be viewing this celebration from have made some suggestions. Maybe we want to give the ITV 1 or 2 minutes. Not yet.
Yeah, I just want one.
Okay, 1 or 2 minutes to read some of the comments and perhaps suggestions they've made. Prior to that, before you do that, I'm a research-oriented person. The church has come to the point where you have a lot of educated people now. Dr. Goningale Jr. say you need to have an asset verification team interspersed with Anthony's law, which is very correct. So we need to do some kind of we need to do a research to answer several questions. Why are we doing what we are doing? You heard the professor behind it. We will identify through data. Then we analyze the data, we do conclusion, and then we make recommendations for action. And we'll move forward. So we'll go to the online platform for their comments and recommendations. Sure.
So we just have one recommendation, and the person is talking about creating an access management team to go after the properties of the LCL.
Thank you. So I will let so then I will give some book. Naruto, you want to say something? You look at me like this, I'm going to follow it. So then, let's go here, let's go. Okay. Do you want to throw your thing to put it there?
Okay. I do have some thoughts. As many of you guys know, my passion continues to be in the health ministry part of our church. We're a rich church. We do own 2 hospitals. Those hospitals were established many, many years ago. And in 1975, we got the commitment from the government of Liberia through President William R. Tolbert to subsidize the healthcare ministry of the Lutheran Church in Liberia, specifically Phoebe Hospital. That agreement over the years, remember, Phoebe and current Lutheran hospitals are both assets of the Lutheran Church in Liberia. In 1975, with the agreement of President Tolbert, we started to see influx of funding for those 2 facilities. Over the years, we benefited and even came to a point where most of our staff that are paid at Phoebe Hospital and current are paid by the government of the Republic of Liberia. At least 75% of our operational costs comes from them. But we forget to realize that those 2 assets in partnership with the government have no guarantees that the government of the Republic of Liberia can walk away. And if they walk away, they don't have to continue that relationship. They decide to help us, they can decide not to help us in the future. They can decide to build a clinic or a hospital, an extension somewhere else, and decide that that is the referral center they want to use, and they don't want to be in business with this fake partner. In thinking about that though, we must begin to see how we sustain our 2 facilities on our own. This administration supports us. Suppose the next one decides we do not want to be in a relationship with our faith-based organization. Will we survive? Can we sustain our 2 facilities? Can we still be part of our mission of preaching, teaching, and healing? Will we have a healing ministry? I want you to think about that as you make into how we go forward. I have some ideas. Strengthening our fee-for-service programs, putting things that allow us to be independent, should that ever happen. But it requires a collective thought of all of us. So as we close today, don't only think about just our land. We have schools. Can our schools make money? Are they adequate enough? Do we have a national curriculum that people can be proud of to send their kids there? Will they be willing to spend money there that we can use to develop our institutions? In our high schools, are we preparing our high schools to send our students to our Lutheran University of Liberia? Are they coming out strong enough? Will they be able to fund our university through tuitions and other programs? So think beyond agriculture. Think about your global church. Think about all these other assets, auxiliaries. Think about the different things you can do in educating your children, supporting your youth, developing your men's group, and look beyond where we currently are at. I want to thank all of you, Jesus Christ.
I'm so sorry.
But they sponsored us through Lutheran investment programs, the German church investment programs, through investment programs that they channeled in supporting us. We are now at the point where we need to develop our own investment plans that takes care of our church. Additionally, he was right. The kind of mission programs and the kind of investment programs are exactly what he did in Zierzu. Putting in a farm that's supposed to build resources. But our church has to go just beyond investment. It has to go into the place of maintaining. Look at your facilities today. We build and we see a new building today, and 2 years because we don't maintain what we build. We don't take care of our properties that we have. We don't take care of our schools. We don't take care of our pastors. We have to change. So I hope this discussion was enlightening. I will continue to be prayerfully with us as we look at how we build our asset management team and grow, and be very supportive of our financial management team as we move forward. Thank you all. Thank you for your service to the Republic of Liberia. Thank you for your service to the people of the Lutheran Church. And thank you for making the work of God ever present here in Liberia. Thank you.
So thank you, Walter. And thank you to all of you for the suggestions you've made. I took out 2 big ones. 2 points on everything we discussed.
Also, welcome
The
to
first
you,
one has to
Satan
do with,
Moore.
formulating an access
Papa
committee.
for Darlington Mobile. Also,
And
welcome
the
as
second
well.
one is we are ourselves.
Emmanuel G. Pare.
That's what I got. Because, you know,
welcome,
and there's no one that will say they don't know that we've been talking about using our land. The problem we have right now is that parishes are more self-centered than anything. Now, somebody said money brings money. Where do you expect the bishop to get money from to bring money? Talk about using $1 million. That church is a church under the bishop. The bishop doesn't even know that they do $1 million. But we don't even have $250,000 as a whole church. Who's supposed the church to bring those money? If we start being mean to our church, we will move. All the bishops who been bishops like is good that Bishop Emeritus Jason is here. You would have had a very good dream, but who supports it? I can go to all the parishes, you see the buildings now, they tell you when they finish away, and that's small thing. But our central office doesn't even have the support. We're going to start taking it around. And we have to start being judgmental in some sense. Today we're talking about access verification, access team. When I talk about we formulated an access team, Senator Howard was chairing. What happened to that team that it died down a little bit was that Everybody, and the good bishop is here. All the people who spoke about it saw it as I was trying to disgrace Bishop Jensen. I went in the newspaper. I went on the radio. I went on the international wire because we established an access verification team. Everybody here who knows what I don't want can see the truth. Why would I want to disgrace Bishop? That's the thing. So when we say this, it's easy to come to conventions and programs like this and say, we do this, we do this. My church people, I won't leave from here. Nobody comes back to see how that thing we say we do, we ever support it. And the Lutheran Church Central Office don't have anywhere else to get money. What from you? If you say do and you don't support it, I'll do it. I hope what we see today, I can assure you, we will put into practice what you say, we will try to do. I just want to close by saying to the parishes that I have been to and encourage all the parishes that somebody said, when you make your own farm, when you start to support yourself, you'll be able to support the Lutheran Church. But you're not willing to support yourself. Except for a few parishes that are taking the initiative to start. We can make it. That's the way I want to close it. Thank you for your suggestions, and we'll take them into consideration. God bless all of us.
So that was a personal comment from the Lord Bishop of the Lutheran Church in Liberia.
So that's what we do, huh? You know, when the book, they say, "Can't keep that from me." I was. As part of our investment strategy and plans we are making, I just told you about an hour ago that we have gotten in relationship with an investor, I'm calling that me, who is now taking over the guest house. They have renovated and improved the cafeteria, and they have improved our smaller guest house to the point that when you stay down there, you can see you in any kind of European or big hotel in Liberia. Everything you can find big hotel, you can find it. You want to see DSTV, you want to see BBC News, it's there. You can stay there, use your Wi-Fi. But in my presentation, I said something that was misunderstood. We were not talking about leasing or selling remaining church land. What I said to you was that the structures we have on our church compound now, if you compare it to the surrounding, we are like a little village. Therefore, we got in contact with somebody, an investor, who is willing to work along with us. We have not done any negotiation, we have not done any plan, but in terms of the national, but we also want this person to tell us what is in the pipeline. What do we hope to see from that engagement? We're not selling the place. We are just trying to redo the houses we have in the compound. The guest house in the long will be changed. The trauma healing building will be changed. The school system building will be changed. And so I asked him to be in our midst. He's a Liberian. I don't know why he not changed his denomination. But I saw him growing as a Lutheran. His father worked for us in the Lutheran Church, and is still a default Lutheran, his father. 95% of his families are Lutheran. So we have in our midst Brother Jean Oliver. Jean? Jean Moran tells me the project we're talking about, and I don't want to know the way you own that. They doing them what teaching their school in India. It will cost us very close to $9 million United States or plus to make the transformation. So Jimmy, welcome. I told you I cannot say to you, this is Lutheran Church. Sell the ideas to all of us, and let's see whether we can buy it when we begin our meet discussion. All right?
Thank you very much, Bishop. Greetings to everyone, to the leadership of this, our great church. As Bishop said, I was born in Phoebe, and I grew up in Phoebe until I traveled. And when I visited Bishop on the compound on 13th Street, what I saw challenged me. And I went to him, I said, Bishop, with the opportunities some of us have, if I don't speak my mind to you now, my own generation would not forgive me when they know where I sit. Sorry, my voice. I said, I look around the Lutheran compound on 13th Street. As he rightly said, looking at buildings springing up around the Lutheran Church, Lutheran compound in Cinco, it has reduced that compound to a village hut. So I left from there. I engaged my partners. As God will have it, I am currently the advisor to the President of Liberia on national infrastructure development. And I sit and talk with investors that are coming to transform our country. And the people say, charity begins at home. So I went to him, I said, Bishop, I am not coming for us to lease this property. No. I am bringing in my associate for us to partner with the church. Knowing that today our church is no longer receiving subsidy from overseas, we are now to sponsor, support ourselves. We need to develop a sustainable partnership that will be able to help the church. We were going to Lofa, Foyer area, and we passed by LTR, the great LTR. I stopped, and tears set in my eye of what I saw. I said, Bishop, we'll start from somewhere, and that is this compound. So we took over the guest house as a pilot project. We will transform the cafeteria, the guest house, and let our church authority see the little that can be done in this place. And as you rightly said, people are coming there every day. People are having their lunch there. And I tell you, Lutheran women can cook. Clap for yourself. Oh yes. From last week Friday to yesterday, people that I have invited to go there and just eat, they come by, they say, Joe, every day I am putting my food to bring to my office. So, and the guest house, as he rightly said, it is affordable, but the standard is like any guest house or hotel in Monrovia. That is just the beginning. And what we are proposing here for that compound is to develop that compound into a business center that will support the Central Church to be able to help the direct parishes. All the buildings you see in there, one by one, they will be broken down and transformed, some into 5-story building, some into 6. I think the highest will be 7-story. And I've gotten approval from my partner to invest $10 million in that compound. Once we get an approval from the church, and we will sit with the leadership and then discuss the terms and conditions from which the church will benefit. Not to say, give us the land after 50 years before you start eating. Someone say, where will we be after 50 years? But it's a partnership that from day one, the church must begin to benefit. And I told them one of the buildings in that compound will be for business development. I went to a business development building in Dubai. The young people are in there having their little offices, developing business ideas. And when they develop the business ideas, they move into other sectors. Other younger won't come there. So that, like Kenya, in the next 5-10 years, our young people, how can people go to church and even give offering and tithe when you don't even have employment? They can't even afford Gary to eat. They say them for offering. It's not possible. But when we empower our young people and they are making money, when they go to church, they will put their hand in the pocket and give tangible offerings. So this is where we need to start from. So I have been working with Bishop and his leadership at the central office. He always tell me, Jim, he was teaching at Phoebe Community School. I can't say the rest, but he used to flog out, but they're good. So we can be straight. And I told him, thank you, Bishop. The discipline you will instill in some of us has brought us to where we are today. So, Bishop, leadership of our great congregation, our great church, members of the great church, this is the opportunity that we have. I told him, I said, Bishop, I'm your son, but I will hamburg you, you will not sleep if you give the place to your Lebanese. I am a Liberian, Lutheran from birth, and I will bring my investors, and we will invest here in partnership. We're not coming to say, we're leasing your property and take it. No. We will partner until Jesus comes. We will be there and improve it. And I told him, one of them, when we've been to Foyer, we start at LTR. He said, Joe, this could be an IT center for this country to transform the young people. I said, you have spoken right, but we will come to that. I even told the president that last night. Yeah, Bishop spoke with him. I said, Uncle, you know charity begins at home. All the investment are coming from June. We must look at LTR. He said, well, if LTR is not done, then I'll blame you. I said, thank you for giving me that gabble. So when I'm taking authority in the financial side, those that are talking, I will say, go ask the president. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this morning I told Bishop, we had a meeting with him. I said, I will try and run hard to be part of this program, to tell our people the good news, that we can transform the Lutheran compound, we can move to LTI, and when I passed through Zosa, I saw Lutheran University, I said, now we are making the impact that we should be making. And when we sit, by God's help, before the 6 years is over, we must bring the impact back home. I thank you, Bishop.
Thank you. I will not keep you here for long because I know that you're busy. But those are what we've been talking. In fact, to the pastors, the first meeting was supposed to, Gene, you hearing me? Yes, Gene, you better hear me because the promise you made, I want to make it.
Let me stand, sir.
Yeah. The first meeting was supposed to start working on that compound. It's the pastor, the conference hall for the minister salary support system. Wow. Hopefully, the things go well, and he's saying we want to start that before the year is out. Pretty soon we will do that. But the LTI synergy, and I know you want to know it. The LTI thing, I was with the president last Wednesday, and he and I spoke. And he told me, because if I first he had told me he was going to call me, but he didn't call me. So I said, you didn't call me. I still waiting for you. He said, talk to my, they call it protocol. So we stood there by him, and the protocols gave me their numbers. The only reason why I didn't call them this week because of this program, that's why I called them. The first thing he said to me, LTR is a technical vocational training center. That's what he said to me. We will make it as such. Let's bring God, let's fight hard, and see how we can have these things achieved. Life is a risk. We're going to take some, right? Let's take some. But, are you listening? Besides running the cafeteria and the guest house, Gene and I and the Senate have not entered into any agreement. As much as we're talking and he gave me a hard time, I wanted you to hear from And that's him I refer to as investor. That's why I know. The one that behind here, I know them. So he's the one I know. And I know him very well because I know his father. If anybody who have been to Phoebe before in the past 10 years, the only weller we had at Phoebe Hospital, who was running out of album when he said, Joe, I want this, it was Joe the weller, and this is his son. And so they have been in the Lutheran Church quite a while. Thank you for allowing me to introduce him to you. And I want us to think on it. I'm not compelling anybody. I'm not insisting anything. I just wanted us to hear what it is. If we think if it is a good venture, we can venture into it. We will. No, the last president, because of one president, I'm able to do. I'm not going to do. You know, one president, I talk. Yeah, go. You don't know what we're talking. You know?
It happens to be her birthday.
So, I want to celebrate it quietly, but I'm still a little bit confused. Bishop, I just want to know, this is a very good idea, but my confusion has to do with the investment committee that we endorse at the convention. So, all of these things we are talking, I think they will see the better in it, because when the group is smaller, they will see the good things Mr. Mulba is saying. But I'm a little confused that I'm not seeing talking with these people, because we really knew that a committee was set, if I'm not making an error.
A board was formulated.
A board. Thank you, Bishop. So that board should be given the responsibility to go deeper. Someone will be sitting here, will be clapping, and now will go fire. Because this is a technical issue. It will sound so nice, but it has a deeper thing to think about.
We agree.
So the technical people, we need to, I think what Walter was just saying, some of the water team, we shouldn't preach about it. We need to give it to the technical people to see the challenges and opportunity we have. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I don't want to talk too much, but we'll follow the steps we're doing. But let me say one thing to you. It's not that we're overlooking the investment board. And let me say it publicly this time. We agreed to that committee. I have members of the committee here. We have really been struggling to meet with them. We've called them for meeting. I think they have met one time, if I'm not making a mistake. I have called them to meet with me. It has not been successful over 3-4 different times. What I'm doing right here, I'm not throwing them out. This is something that, if the church agreed that we can venture into this, then we'll pass it over to them to discuss it. And they're a little bit discouraged that they themselves are pulling up to me. And like I said, I don't want to discuss this. No, we don't want to discuss it. We'll form a forum. Because of the time, we want to fill within the time we have for the itinerary, and let's move there. Sorry, I can't take many persons now, but let's leave it as it is. In the due season, like I normally do, I will call all of you pastors and call councils. We sit back and look at it and make some suggestions along with the investment. Thank you. Thank you, Jean. And with this woman from Lufa, we want to say happy birthday, Pastor. The only reason why I like to talk is because you're the pastor himself and really invited birthday today. You are right, you are free to leave, Jean, because of the business schedule, and we will talk it over as of from here. Thank you. So, we got to move on. Let me see what the agenda says.
Break.
What other matter? Okay, I beg you people, I know so take a break, but the Magua is bereaved. His sister passed, and is supposed to be doing the funeral beginning today to tomorrow activities. And so we want to bring it a little bit in front. Then just give a small presentation, and then we'll take the break. I beg, because he needs some more. Is that something that we can accept? Please, Dr. Magua. And he will be speaking to us. Okay, it's a vertical education to run through the church in the university. Yeah, bring it up here.
Somebody drop their glasses somewhere, you have it. Then you come and clean it.
Thank you. All right, so I will pass on over. This is a little partner discussion. I'm going to pass on over to Reverend King and Dr. Malakba and